thing I'd like to ask you is about, one, the PDP. What's the position with other governors? The likes of Seyi Makinde, which is a big governor for you guys in the Southwest, has not said anything while all of this crisis has gone on. Anyway, Governor Autumn said the other day that, yes, definitely people like Seyi Makinde will still stay on and all of that because this was part of, those affiliated to Wike that are disgruntled. That's one. What's your take on all of that? Secondly, I'd like to ask you, part of the things Festus Keyamo said the other day while he was on television was the fact that the farmer herders crisis has been resolved. And he said the government solved the problem by setting up something called the Rural Livestock Law. Probably, I think that's the most famously Ruger back and forth, the livestock law they put in place. What's your take on that? What's your reaction to that? These are the issues he put forward.
Okay, first of all, with Seyi Makinde, you have to understand that internally in Oyo State, he had a dispute with his deputy governor. And so that took a lot of his focus, a lot of his attention, because I believe the deputy governor, I think he probably left the party for another party, and there was some internal wranglings. So you can't expect him, while he's carrying an elephant on his head, to try to use his tool to kill an ant. So he's preoccupied with that. And we do understand, and we sympathize, and we hope that he resolves that situation and he resolves it coming out on top. On the issue raised by Festus Keyamo, and this is why I say that Festus Keyamo's voice has been purchased. I mean, how can any reasonable person, any sane person say that the farmer herders crisis has been resolved? Look at what's happening in Benue State. Just yesterday, not yesterday, sorry, on Friday, the governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom, had to launch his own state security apparatus to fight herders who were menacing farmers and Benue citizens, killing them. Every day in southern Kaduna, Nigerians are being killed. Not every other day, every single day. Nigerians are being killed. You saw the documentary by BBC that was, it led to fines by the National Broadcast Commission. You saw what was happening in a state like Zamfara State, whereby it becomes so bad that an emir was so scared that he had to turban one of these bandits. And then in that documentary, they asked the bandits, how many Nigerians have you killed? And then the man, he thought for a while and he said, look, I can't even remember. He says, I don't even kill anymore. It's my boys that now kill. All I do is kidnap. So, Festus Keyamo, for him to say that, it beggars belief that a man who is meant to be a senior advocate of Nigeria has reduced himself to that level because his voice has been purchased. Look, this is an administration whereby the spokesman to the president, the official spokesman to the president, Femi Adesina, said, and I'm quoting, this is a quote, "It is better to give for ranching than death." Just look at that. Look, the situation, the solution to this issue was the answer given to you, Arise, by Waziri Atiku Abubakar, when I believe it was even Tundu who asked that question. He said, listen, I have 1,000 herd of cattle. They have never left Adamawa State. Now, I wish that you'd ask a follow-up question why they never left Adamawa State and why Adamawa State is one state where this farmer herders crisis does not happen. It's because Waziri Atiku Abubakar has a company called Rika Gado. Now, he's one of the biggest in agriculture in Nigeria. So what they do is that they grow rice and then they mill the rice. They grow a lot of other products like maize and other products, and then they mill them. They sell to Nigerians. But here's what they do: like the husk of the rice, the byproducts of the agricultural produce, they turn it into animal feed, and then they feed their own livestock, and then they sell to other farmers and even to herders to feed their own livestock. That is a solution. You see that even this man, Waziri Atiku Abubakar, is not yet president, and yet he already has a business that is providing solutions. And look at what he said. He said, look, I believe that the farmer herder crisis is a state issue. So under my presidency, each state will be allowed to address it the way they deem fit. So if you look at someone like Akeredolu in Ondo State, look at what is proposed. All the people in the forest in my state, you cannot stay in the forest. You've got to vacate the forest, and you've got to register with our state government. Now, under an Atiku Abubakar presidency, then such a state will be allowed to do that. So the Land Use Act, which is still in subsistence, allows states to be in control of their resources, their land resources.
Okay, Reno.
So you don't have a big man. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, Reno, thank you so much for your time. Sorry, I had to cut you in. We had to call it its time. It's time for a short break now. Thank you so much for your time. When we return, Urge Okpe will be here to give us details on